The clock is ticking. The U.S. will default on its $14 trillion debt on August the 2nd if Washington can't reach a deal to raise the country's credit limit. Now it has turned into a game of political chicken. The Republicans won't accept tax increases. The Democrats refuse to include cuts to social programs. And neither side seems to be budging. In a moment, we'll break down the global implications if the U.S. defaults on its debt. But first, we go live to Washington and Solon Simmons. He's a U.S. politics expert from George Mason University. He has the latest on the showdown. If you can tell me a little bit, Mr. Simmons, about what, how far apart are these two? In the last 24 hours, has there been any movement?
Well, Beverly, the best way to describe what's going on in Washington right now, I think, is to say chaos and disarray. Eric Cantor of the House said that just recently, yesterday, that nothing can pass the House, nothing. There are all the actions on the Republican side. The Democrats seem ready to deal. It's obvious a deal has to be reached. You have to do something about this. If we don't, the disarray, the catastrophic consequences are only starting to emerge. People are afraid to say exactly how bad it could be. So I think that the easiest way to see it is that there are three rival leaders on the Republican side. There's Eric Cantor in the House, who wants a small deal that has no tax increases at all. There's John Boehner, who's the speaker, who might want to go for a bigger deal. Remember the old golf course issue with President Obama. And the bigger deal would allow for some tax increases or revenue enhancement. And then Mitch McConnell of the Senate, who would like to simply punt, in a way, and make it a political deal which would blame which will allow the Republicans, if they would like, to spin this in such a way that Obama has to own, if you will, the increases in the debt through the presidential campaign. There's an administrative side to this, which is dealing with this, which is really a technical issue of the debt limit. And then there's the political side, the political theater. And the political theater is where all of the action is, because everyone knows that something has to be done. There's no reason even to tie this at all to some issue of Medicare or the debt more generally. This is a technical issue going back to World War I. People periodically raise it over time. And so the House could easily just say, fine, let's pass it and let's deal with this in some other way. Pressure will increase. You'll see that the House members, who are not as close to these administrative issues as some in the Senate are, and certainly in the administration, will start to feel how desperate this is. And you could see it in the Treasury Secretary's appearances this Sunday. He is signaling, without sending a sense of impending chaos, which could trigger the markets right away, that something has to be done. They will do something. The question is, what will it look like?
So you think somehow they'll hammer out some kind of a deal by August 2nd?
I can't imagine a way in which they don't. If ideology trumps a reason to the point that happens, the Republican Party is in real trouble, because you see, even the narrative, the story is moving in a direction where everyone knows that the president has spent real political capital here. He's given up a lot. And the Republicans don't seem to have given up much of anything. And you can sense that disarray. You can sense that spirit of division. And the insiders are picking up on that. It'd be very difficult for them politically. And since this is all about the politics, I hate to say, in this case it seems to be, I think that the Republicans will come up with some deal.
Wow. Okay. Solon Simmons, thank you so much for your expertise.
Thanks, Beverly.